What's going on, everybody? Welcome to BREW-BRG. My name is Corey, also known as that TCG Guy. It's been a minute, been a couple weeks. I will have the episode that was supposed to go before this one. I will have that one up soon. Took a little step back from the BREW-BRG editing for just a little bit to work on some of the like 60-second EDH deck tech stuff, which you can find right here on YouTube under the YouTube Shorts or over on the TikToks and Instagram, a lot of stuff. But yeah, so you're gonna see this one, and then you will see Cole's episode come up probably a couple days up after this one, but don't worry, that one's coming. But this one here, all right, today's guest, we have Lynn from Check Your Bulk, and we are building a deck that I'm not, or excuse me, we're building a format that I'm not used to building. It is still Commander, but it is Pauper Commander, which is not in my wheelhouse. I don't do Pauper much, but we're building a Pauper deck here for you guys. So here it is. It is Gollum, Patient Plotter, Pauper version. I have no idea how to do this. I have no idea where to even begin with this. So why don't we just jump into the video? We're gonna let Lynn explain a little bit more about it. Let's go. Hello everybody, what's going on? Welcome to BREW-BRG. I'm here with Lynn from Check Your Bulk. Very excited. One of the people I was the most excited to get on here, just to get inside your brain and see your deck building prowess in person. So I'm very excited. So Lynn, how you doing?
It was good. That was a great session. That was like a workout.
It was.
Like I feel like we did a workout. You were typed a lot as I was like running through every Scryfall term, search term, and other sort of things to find every particular card. Yeah, it's fun sharing my process too, because I've thought about it a lot. Like the whole like idea of we didn't go over 100 cards, with the idea of like building the big list of cards and then redrafting it, or putting things to the building my list, going to my cardboard boxes, yanking what I have and sideboarding everything I don't have, and then of course either buying it or finding suitable replacements. It was fun to cover all that and just do some of the what we search for, how we find and discover type of things. So yeah, super fun to do it.
Yeah,
I like collaborating and building with other person. I think also it talks you out of like tangents. It keeps you on track.
It does.
It's why I do it in software programming. We do pair programming. We do it together. We bounce off each other and we go like, we just leave it. It's not going to happen. It's Magic Christmas Land. And there's a few moments where it's like, no, actually, that does work with me.
It could work.
That isn't a wild idea.
It can work. Yeah, I definitely feel like I learned quite a bit. About Scryfall, definitely about Scryfall, but learning about the deck building process too, which has been really good. So that being said,
me too.
That being said, what did we do? What did we build? What is it? What do we got?
Yeah, we built Gollum, Patient Plotter, 1 and a black, legendary creature, halfling horror. It's a 3/1. A 3/1 halfling horror. It's got a little top. And it says, whenever Gollum, Patient Plotter leaves the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Black, sacrifice a creature. Return Gollum from your graveyard to your hand. Activate only as a sorcery. This is an uncommon creature, which means I wanted to challenge Corey and myself into building something in Pauper. I've been really getting into Pauper PDH, Pauper EDH. And that case, you pick any uncommon creature. In this case, it can be legendary, it doesn't have to be, but any uncommon creature can become your commander. So if you had wild dreams about building some weird collection of cards around an uncommon card, you put 99 commons in a deck and call it PDH and run it. And I thought, pretty casual, but there's some competitive sides to this. So we looked to build something that was, effective, not just like a typical, like all horror creatures, all as many halflings and horrors and weird sort of things we might put in there. As many eggs or Easter eggs, you might say, from Lord of the Rings in there. We just put in, a lot of good effective cards with the combo strategy of Gollum. So Gollum, this strategy goes something like this. Gollum, we want to have Gollum leave the battlefield, either exile to the graveyard, ideally to the graveyard, and then return to the battlefield and do it again. So sacrifices, deaths, those type of things. And we want to then have 2-for-1 creatures that we can return Gollum back, sack a little 1/1 token, sack a something, a little decayed zombie, sack something like that, bring Gollum back to the battlefield and do it again, and get our ring bearer from like level 2 to level 4. Because we really want to get that looting going, and then we really want to get to that each opponent loses 3 life with whatever our attacker is, a low power, high toughness attacker that's slipping through and perhaps finishing the game out, either through like a surprise pump with a shade damage or maybe some Crypt Rats, Pestilence.
Yep.
You know, using the amassed mana, getting players low enough, and then just burning the rest of their life out with, you know, good old-fashioned black, mono black commons, Pestilence, and Crypt Rats, which is a straight-up deck.
Yeah.
It's a straight deck. You know what I mean? It's
Those are
powerful.
all powerhouses in their own right.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So those are kind of that's our strong game plan for it. And, you know, so that means a little bit of combat, a little bit of, you know, interaction. Mostly, really, you're just trying to, you know, get through and get your hits on. So sometimes you're looking for your weak opponent, you know, tearing them apart. In Pauper, though, sometimes it's a little bit harder. People have army of 1/1s, so you have to be able to deal with them in some way. So it's kind of tricky. Got to be quick, you got to be fast, and then you got to find out a way to become unblockable. So at the end there, you know, you want to be at the beginning, you want to be blocked. At the end, you're like, I don't get out of my way. I'm looking at your life total, not
Just
you.
kill you. Let me kill you. Yeah, it definitely seems. And I correct me if I'm wrong here, because I very well could be. I've kind of gathered from the little I know about Pauper EDH, it seems like, I feel like with regular EDH, there are these very big bombastic decks that do big, huge combos and fancy things. With Pauper EDH, I've kind of realized, or I'm noticing a little bit more and more, it's almost more precision strikes than than these big flashy plays. It's like very efficient creatures, very efficient plays that do the thing that you built the deck to do, instead of like, let me play this 15,000 card combo that like is 900 mana to do, and then I return all the creatures. Like, yeah. Which is cool.
Yeah, you don't have that luxury. You don't have the luxury. You don't have the value, like, say, of like I mean, I play it all the time, black market connections in like my general good stuff 3-color deck, right? That is so much value and power into that right? That's 2 tokens. One of them happens to be a mana producing one that can sacrifice itself, and a draw, a loss of 6 life. There's a lot of events happening, and in Pauper, the cardboard carries a lot less events, so you have to be very particular about what's going in that 99 these days, right? You know what I mean? Like it's got to be strict, you know, it's got to be surgical strikes. So there are these moments where you have to surprise people with a attack, and then followed up with the Pestilence that you drop and they hit for 4 or something like that to finish people off. You've got to find ways to win that way and push people that way, because you don't have a lot of recursion, you don't have the value systems, you don't have those engines that are quite there for you that'll always get you back on your feet.
It's an interesting strategy, and I'm curious to see more of it. It's funny, Trivial Encounters always tries to get me to do Pauper EDH, and he's constantly sending me messages like, hey, when are we building Pauper decks? Like, when are you gonna play Pauper with us? And I never really scratched the surface with it, but this has opened the door, at least for me, to peek my head in. Just gonna say, hey, what's going on, everybody?
Tilt that head to the side a little bit, like, I'm listening.
A little more head tilt.
I think as anything, right, the scariness that comes from it is that when you're you've got the tools, you know what I mean, right? Moxfield is there for you. You've got your tools to work with it. You've got Scryfall, that all is still available to you. It just becomes a subset of cards, and then learning that subset, and then the mixtures, you know, like how much baking soda in my baking powder am I putting in this pancake? You know, it's that type of thing. And you know, I find my strategies always are play these land cyclers, you know what I mean, look for cards that of course are high US dollar value. You know, like there's always staples. You can go to the pdhrec.com or .io, PDHrec. Well, go to PDHrec, not just EDHrec, PDHrec. If the commander has been created as a deck, like we found out Gollum is too new, no deck had been indexed yet. We're the first ones in that space. We found a commander that kind of fit near it, and so we got some good suggestions to get started. But really, it's like, if you have been playing limited, if you do play cube, I think you know already, like some of those people that play it, you know, they're familiar with it. You know the good cards, those cards that you might play. And you might think about it in this context for this. We could think about like the 5 cards we pick for this deck. I think would be some, like, you know, some good examples of that.
And we're gonna that's the next thing. That's what we're going to. And you already went through how the deck wants to win, which is great. I didn't even have to like jump into that. You went right into it, which is perfect. So the next part here is choosing those 5 showcase cards that showcase how this deck kind of wants to do its thing. So I want to read the card one more time.
I want to pause for a moment. If you happen to be watching this, like if you're at this decision moment about whether I'm going to do with Gollum, Patient Plotter, think about it for like, and then think about what 5 cards you might pick suddenly, or what kind of class of cards. Sometimes it's hard to remember the names of the cards. You might be like, well, this one, but you know, like see what you come up with. But when Gollum, Patient Plotter leaves the battlefield, the ring tempts you. So leaving, you either, like you said, graveyard to the command zone.
Yep.
And then it has a black sacrifice return, or excuse me, sacrifice a creature, return Gollum from your graveyard to your hand, activate only as a sorcery. So Gollum can, you know, do some flip-flopping, moving around. We need to move him between zones, so.
Yep.
Well, I think, first and foremost, getting Gollum on the battlefield, I think the ring tempts you is an important mechanic, and we always need removal. I think it's nothing more flavorful than, like, Claim the Precious. Claim the Precious at 1 black, sorcery, destroy target creature, the ring tempts you. Having one more additional, the ring tempts you, as many as we can, because we're picking this mechanic. Yes, it's on the commander, but that extra one sometimes turns us from getting the 3rd level in the ring to the 4th level of the ring on the turn when we need it.
Yep.
Or in this case, remove, you know, a creature that's in our way and get the bonus of the ring. It can also mean if our ring bearer died, you know, to our own pestilence or to our own crypt rat or to our own hubris, when we swung out when we shouldn't, we can pick a new ring bearer. And that's something it's always a good move. While Gollum can do it, and there's a few other cards that, you know, can work with Gollum, I think that's probably the best place to start as far as a card. So I think that's kind of what we did when we built the deck too. We looked through the cards that are related to the set that had that keyword or mechanic focused or introduced in that set there, and found, you know, that as an answer. So that was kind of like an easy win for us. Yep. Yeah. All right. Card 2.
Yep. Yeah, you can just rifle through them all. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you want to do a card? Is that anything you want to do one of these? Okay.
This is.
Tell me.
Yeah, this is you. This is
all right.
I mean, I have my favorites. Like I think Shade's Form is probably the one that I like. You mentioned it, and I was like, oh, I like that card. Yeah.
We should talk about that one for sure. Let's talk. Let me set one more ground rule, like one before that at least. I think. So we look at Gollum and we think about PDH, we're not going to have a ton of recursion. Like we don't have a Luris, we don't have, you know, just like return target creature. We don't have a Shieldred. We don't have something that's going to return Gollum all the time. And so or infinitely or anything like that. And we don't have like infinite mana options as easily. So we need to come up with some way to get Gollum back and forth from the graveyard. And it's a little slow, but we need something. And I think there's a class of cards that are like this one, the Haunt of Dead Marshes, which is a single black. It's a creature, and it's one that goes to the graveyard and then can return to the battlefield or your hand. And like those are incredibly important, particularly for Gollum when we're stuck in kind of a mid-game situation and we're trying to like get Gollum to the 4th level, and we just need to do it slowly. Because Corey and I were talking about it, and it was like, what's the Gollum, you know, creature loop?
Yep.
When you have a Haunt of Dead Marshes, which, you know, when it returns to the battlefield, you get to describe. It's like 2 and a black. As long as you have a legendary creature can come back, you know, count that up. That's like 4 mana when Gollum's in the graveyard, 6 mana to have Gollum back out again, sack it to the Viscera Seer. So it's like 6 mana every turn. You could go through the, you know, the loop or something like that if you think about it.
Yep. It's
pretty interesting to, you know, kind of like boil it down to that, but I think it's important to think about it because that also means we're going to need lots of mana. You know, we're going to sometimes need it, particularly if you want to do a power through loop again and surprise people. And that's why Claim the Precious is real good. Anything with that text, the ring tempts you is good.
Yep.
But Haunt of Dead Marshes came out with the set, cares about a legendary being in the battlefield, works really well with Gollum. The two of them are just passing each other, like, you know what I mean? When you're on the night shift and you're on the day shift, and it's like, hi, honey, because they're just sacking and passing each other as they go along. So that's definitely my pick number 2.
Cool.
That gets us through the ring being tempted us to all the way to like level 4, which is the moment we want to hit someone in the face. And Corey and I both agreed the best way to do it is with this other card. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, did you want me to?
Shade's Form.
Yeah, okay,
yeah, I want you to tell me about it. I've been gushing. You need to gush this time now.
Sure, yeah, all right. This is the first here. I don't usually talk about the cards.
Well, I want you to talk, because I thought no one's going to want this card, but you said you already play this card.
I play this card in my Gollum God, Scheming Guide and Gollum Scheming Guide. That's my mono black Gollum Voltron deck. Yeah, Shades Form, 1 black for enchant creature, so for an aura. Enchanted creature has swamp or black. This creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn. When enchanted creature is put into a graveyard, return that creature to play under your control. So I liked it for both of those things, because especially in the other Gollum deck, people remove Scheming Guide Gollum quite a bit, because that card, if you can get enough, it's a Voltron deck, so you get enough equipment on it, you can kill people in one swing. So people are very much targeting Gollum quite a bit. So when I built that, I really wanted to make sure I had those, like, give it indestructible, give it, the Kaya's Ghost Form treatment, I call it, where it's like it dies and it comes right back to the battlefield.
I like that.
So yeah, it has that shade, the shade text printed on it, where you pay a black. Yeah. This creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn. So with this, the way I look at it, especially in terms of this deck with Gollum, is if we're really making sure one creature has all those ring abilities. You have that first one with the pseudo skulk, I call it, where it's like they can't be blocked by creatures with power greater than theirs. If we can get this on a 1/1 and we swing in with them, and they have that, at least that first ability, and they can't block it because of that pseudo skulk, then you just you have 10 swamps or whatever it is. You just pump as much as you can into it, and they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Can do nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you Dark Ritual, you know what I mean? Like, you Culling of the Week, you get a bunch of mana suddenly, or just, it's mid-game, and you just got all that mana. Yep. I think the interesting part about that card, too, is that, I call it Swamp Breath. Swamp Breath. Yes. I know we don't call it Mountain Breath, but Swamp Breath seems to work for me. The other text is that when enchanted creature is put into a graveyard, return that creature to play under your control. That's like essentially ghost form treatment. I love thinking like going to the car wash. Can I get Kaya's ghost form treatment? You know what I mean? Like on my undercarriage or something. But I love it too, in the sense that you can put it on your creature, the creature dies and then comes back to the battlefield. Yep. But you could put it on someone else's creature and get their creature from them. You could steal stuff from them with this card.
And the art on this card is incredible. Like, I'm gonna zoom in on the art really quick so you can just see the art. And then, boom,
please.
Look at that. Look at how cool that is.
It's like, it strikes me, I feel like I'm watching some sort of Elvira thing. Yes. It's just so over the top and great, and I enjoy the form of it. It's very it reminds me of old D&D stuff, and I'm a fan mostly from the sense of like solid form of character. You know what I mean? Like very form, but interestingly fitted in the world. So yeah,
I dig it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I dig it. All right. Let's move on to more of your cards. I appreciate you letting me talk about one. That was fun. That was a good time.
Absolutely. I think there's a class of cards, right? We need to sack. So we also need to sack Gollum himself, right? Yep. Regardless if you got the like the Haunt of the Dead Marshes out, or I'm looking at through my bulk, my Haunt of the Dead Marshes, or the other creature like the not a reassembling skeleton, but the persistent specimen. That creature's kind of moving through. We're going to get Gollum on the battlefield. We need to get Gollum back off the battlefield. And that means we need something that sacrifices. Yep. And of course, if we're looking at something more competitive, I think Culling the Weak is the right flavor.
Yep.
As Culling the Weak for single black is sacrifice a creature, add 4 black mana. And if we're thinking we want to get through this loop real quick and then get something on a low power shaded body, Culling the Weak gives us the mana to almost do a whole loop with Gollum real quick, or get us another 2-for-1 creature on the battlefield. Yep. Just set us up for just outpace our opponents. And so Culling the Weak is great, but it can also, could be another form, but sacrifice outlets, sacrifice outlets, sacrifice outlets.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a tough choice. If you think of 5, I mean, like the win con is something you might want to say is like in the deck. I think I like to say, though, for the last one is this Dunlin Creeben. Dunlin Creeben is a bird horror. 2 and a black. Bird horror, 1/1 flying. When Dunlin Creeben enters the battlefield, amass 2. So that's what I like to call the 2-for-1 creatures that I alluded to before about sacrificing. Yep. We want these other creatures that can just chump block for us. If you're amassing, and there's a few other cards that amassing, you're going to get like a decent enough army. What I really love about the Dunlin Creeben is that you do get the 2/2. You keep the bird, You sack the army to get Gollum on the battlefield. You keep the bird. You make the bird the ring bearer later. You've got an evasive flyer. And sometimes, you know how it works in limited. It's exactly like there are moments like that in PDH where it just comes down to the fact that someone's got the flyer and you don't have a way to stop it.
Yep.
And this one happens to make you lose 3 life every turn on top of on top of the 1 damage it's doing.
Yep.
So. That's the type of thing, like evasive flyers, 2-for-1s. The card encapsulates a lot of what's really important when you're building it. I think this commander at the pauper level.
Yeah. That's it seems like it's going to be an all-star in that style of deck, which is really cool.
Yeah, I've been playing it in a CPDH tournament. I played it the first 2 rounds. Didn't pull out any wins. Made a misplay in 1 game, but went to turns. I think I may have gotten a win if I didn't misplay and lost the game 2.
Yeah.
But it felt strong. You know what I mean? There's some good strong cards in mono black. It's it's a good strong play. So
for sure.
Or make it fun, make it flavorful. Put horrors in there. Put whatever. Put weird things in. It's Gollum. Get funky with it.
Get weird with it. That's just the way he goes.
You know what I mean? Put Gollum and Smeagol, and just have talk voices while you play it.
Put all the Gollums in there together and see what happens.
Yeah, grow it up. Yeah, grow it up. Make it bigger. Take this common pauper one, turn it into Copper League, and turn it into your Platinum League.
There you go.
You know what I mean? The core, the bone structure is the same.
Yeah.
It's just some other thing. There's gonna be a lot more value along the way.
For sure.
So,
it looks like fun, and like I said, it definitely has opened the door to me being a little more curious about this pauper thing. Maybe I'll check it out. I'll dip my toes in the water. I'll see, test it out, see if it's good.
Again,
I gotta find like a spell slinger, like a is it spell slinger pauper deck, and I think that.
Oh, I got you.
I think
do
that
you want
really,
one?
Yeah, if you got one, you want to send one my way.
I'll get you one. Okay, I got a few here for you, so let me know. We'll talk. I'll get you one. I'll get you into pauper. Yeah,
we'll chat about
They're fun to do.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, that is all the time we have here for you folks today. Again, first of all, Lynn, thank you so much for being here. This was super fun, super awesome. Yeah. Thank you for opening my eyes to the possibilities of pauper. That's a fun name.
Absolutely.
The pauper possibilities. Absolutely. Say that 5 times fast.
Pauper possibilities. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much. This was super fun. So I really appreciate you being here and taking the time to build a deck and hang out. So before we go, I know we've done it like 4 times between the stream and now, but if you want to one more time, let everybody know who you are and where they can find you. I'm going to put all of Lynn's links in the description below, along with the deck list for this. It may change. We both have access to it, so I imagine Lynn will probably tweak it a little bit here and there. So it may not be exactly as it is in this moment, but it will be in the description, so you can take a look at it yourself.
Yeah. And please, comment on the thing if you've got some suggestions where you did different, or comment on it and put your deck list, because I'd love to see it from there.
Yeah.
We're both on that list, so we can take a look at what you're building. I'd love to see what your flavor, your take on some of the phases and steps. So if you thought about that question, thinking about the card of how you might build it, what 5 cards you might pick.
Yeah.
What were your choices? Would love to know them.
For sure. But yeah, one more time.
So I'm playing it competitively. Need that hidden tech. What am I missing?
Exactly. But yeah, one more time, if you want to let everyone know who you are and where they can find you.
Sure, yeah. Hey, everybody, my name is Lynn Frank. You can find me on Twitter at Check Your Bulk, Moxfield Check Your Bulk. And that's it. You can find me there. There's 2 places. Putting together decks and then just slinging some commentary. I make a few little videos and GIFs for Tolarian Community College at the moment. And of course, pop on anyone's shows that fit in my time schedule. I'll be helping out Birds of Paradise as they're raising money this month. So this should come out. We probably will have at least 1 more day of the Birds of Paradise to help get them to Las Vegas. If you're interested, it's an all-day stream. Bobby Christine is running it. I'll be there, and I've been forcing some people. And by forcing, I mean I just say I'll play a pauper deck, and other people are like, yeah, why not? And we kind of turn down the volume a little bit, play pauper, and then turn it crank it back up, and we're like, yeah, the wheels, you know what I mean? The training wheels are off, and it feels kind of good. It feels like detoxing from your appliance that you're staring at right now. You know what I mean? Turning it off for a moment and walking away and then coming back, you're like, damn, this feels good again, instead of just being this endless sliding slog. Anyways, you can find me at Check Your Bulk on Twitter, saying similar things like that. I do have a YouTube channel as well, at the username Check Your Bulk as well. So here we're on YouTube, so why not click around?
Yeah. click all the links. Like I said, I'm going to put them all in the description so you can click on all of them and then go do all the follow stuff. And then for this, do the like and the commenting and consider subscribing, because that's a whole thing. And I would appreciate that. And I constantly crave validation. So do the thing.
Corey does.
I do.
Let's give it to him.
I desperately need to be validated. It's awful. I have the only child syndrome. It's so bad. But anyway.
Yeah.
We're going to get out of here. I'm going to pass it to myself again for another outro thing, because I feel like I have to. We're out. I got to do the thing at the end. I always do a magic. That's the thing I say.
Do a magic.
Do a magic.
Do a magic.
All right, there it is. My beard. Look at this. If I put my face like this, look at this little flip stuff. That's going to be gone. I'm getting my beard trimmed tomorrow. It's going to be gone. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this episode, folks. If you made it all the way here, you're one of the true, real ones. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. If you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing, because that would really mean a whole lot to me. Just check it out. All right, thank you so much for watching. As always, I have a Patreon. I have 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. $1 tier gets you a thank you in every single one of these videos, which you'll see right after this. $5 tier, whenever I do any sort of fun stuff like stickers, something like this, sleeves, something like this, I will send those out to you before sending them out to anybody else, or like selling them, or whatever it is I do with them. You'll get your hands on them for free, technically for free, just for being part of the $5 tier patron. So thank you to everybody who's already a patron, regardless of your tier. And even if you're not a patron, thank you for just engaging and watching and being a part of this community. I really appreciate you. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. And if this helps you anyway, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You know what to do. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.